working out at the hotel. Let's get it. You know how we do it. We work out every day. Our greatest wealth is our greatest health. And that is because once we prioritize us working out, that's when we can prioritize our wealth. Yeah. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. By the way, if you guys don't know what I'm doing, I go on hikes a lot and I work out a lot. One, because I love working out. And I used to do wrestling. So, you know, I kind of fell in love with working out every day. And two, I'm trying to be a wildland firefighter. So I'm trying to train myself to go on hikes a lot. So that's why you may see me running a lot and going on hikes. But again, even though my job is, or my future job is physically demanding, just because you may work just an office job doesn't mean that you don't have to work out. Like I think everyone should work out, and it's a beautiful hobby, and it also is really therapeutic. We're gonna do a little bit of everything today. I'm thinking, since we're at a hotel and this is not my gym, I'm gonna do a little bit of legs, a little bit of abs, a little bit of upper body. Where I'm at, I do a classic warm up and then 3 sets. I've been wanting to do a 5 set, but I haven't. So. Now we're gonna do our actual set. I'm probably gonna shoot for 20 reps. 20 reps. I did 10. I haven't done dumbbell in a while. My bench is, I can rep out like 120 for my bench. But I haven't benched in like a month. So I'm guessing it's the same because I stay consistent with push-ups and pull-ups and all that. So it's not the same workout, but I'm gonna keep my strength still doing that. Let's jump into 100 reps. I'm gonna do like 8. Oh yeah, baby. Oh, I hurt my finger. I hurt my finger. It's okay. That's pretty much all for gym. I would film more, but people keep staring at me. Welcome to nature. Yay! We love nature! Today, we're gonna talk about reincarnation. Our whole lives, we have been programmed to be afraid of death. You only get one chance to live, right? So live your life to the fullest. Be scared of illnesses because this is your last life, you know? The stress of going to college, the stress of getting a really, really good job so that you can have an identity, so that you can have credibility, so people can look at you and be like, oh, they're making pretty good money. That means they're successful. That means they love their life, right? That's all. What if that was all a lie? What if that is all really stupid? The purpose of life is to get control of your selfish ego. There's a bug. The bugs love me for some reason. So be careful if you're going out in nature and you're wearing a really fragrant, really good smelling shampoo, because they're all up in my hair all the time and I just have to keep my composure. And through this process of trying to gain control of your selfish ego in your one life, right? You have all this pressure of trying to fulfill all of these bullet points on your list. But you don't have one life. You have multiple lives, multi-dimensional lives that are all aligning at one time, which is your soul fragmented across timelines, alternate timelines, not past, not future, all alternate, all multi-dimensional. The loving source that doesn't force in our universe is the equilibrium, which is the love that is within everything, the unity we all have, the unity of loving music, the unity of loving nature, the unity of loving to talk to one another as people. Even if you're an introvert, you love people. Even if you say you hate people, you love people. You can't live without people, and you can't live without nature. There is a loving force within everything. And when you look deeper beyond the physical in the multidimensional, there is an equilibrium that is only loving. This equilibrium is the essence of love that's in every single religion. So where does reincarnation come into play? We are all part of this one equilibrium. When we decide to be an individualized soul, we descend to fill out these bullet points to fully reach that potential of ascension back to equilibrium, because there is a purpose. There's a purpose behind going back to Earth, going back to whatever planets. There's more. I'm not an expert, but trying to be. In equilibrium, you decide, I want to be an individualized soul to come to Earth, either help Earth. You have a purpose on Earth. By doing this, you are going into the game, the program that wipes your memory and is only the soul fragmentation and is spread across this multidimensional timeline. By doing this, you always have an essence of wanting to succeed, an essence of wanting love, wanting acceptance, wanting to go to source. Your soul is that part of equilibrium that is within the individuality. Your psyche is your ego that is good, that is your individuality. So your soul and psyche work together, but when you come to Earth, you're wiped clean of the truth of being, that you are part of a loving source. So therefore, you're kind of in a scavenger hunt and you don't even know the rules. You're looking for something that you don't even know what it is. So not only are you lost, but you know there's an answer, you just don't know where it is. So you're trying to find that answer through different mediums of science, religion, or just being in love with people in general by going to school and going to college. You're just trying to find that answer, but your soul longs to be with its original equilibrium, source of being, divine consciousness, Holy Spirit, Messiah, Buddha, whatever. It longs to be with the truth, the essence of reality, the loving source. So as you're searching for a spiritual enlightenment, a mental enlightenment, a physical and emotional enlightenment, but specifically spiritual, your soul is closely aligning more and more with the divine, the equilibrium. Moment by moment, instinct by instinct, you're doing this slowly. As it's coming closer, climbing up the ladder, it can almost taste equilibrium. Your psyche pulls you back down because it's protecting you. This is different. Not everyone agrees with this spiritual enlightenment you're doing. Not everyone will understand. So there is an aspect of fear, aspect of lack. Your psyche is protecting you. Why would you want to risk your image, which is so important in this video game, so that you can't have questions? You can't search enlightenment, or else you're being vulnerable. So your psyche is protecting you. But as your soul keeps longing to be one with the divine, that's when your selfish ego will be shaped and molded, because it realizes it's all about love. It's all about unity. It's all about being specifically you. You're the person you're looking for. You're the savior. So with every life that you have, one of you is at the lowest point of reaching equilibrium and one of you is at the highest point. This is all happening at once. So when you try to align with all of your multidimensional selves all at once, your brain's literally going to explode. What does this play with? Death. Because everything's at once. It doesn't matter when you die, how you die. It's all about the journey you are with this individual lifeline. You're focusing on this one because through this lifeline, you get to learn on alternate ones, but you're mainly focusing on this one by connecting your soul to equilibrium. And not everyone's going to succeed in the lifetime on Earth. Everyone's living multidimensionally, and people even come back to Earth every decade to try to fulfill that bullet point once again. There's people like Dolores Cannon, who speaks about QHHT, quantum hypnosis healing therapy. I have done this myself. I don't want to talk highly about anything that I haven't done myself. I have done QHHT. I want to be a level 1. I'm trying to go to school for that right now. But basically, she talked about how on Earth, she had a purpose of starting this company to look into alternate lives. So then you can reflect on the blockages, patterns you have in different lives to then benefit the one you are living now. When she passed away, now she's living in the equilibrium, helping people in the spiritual aspect, because she can accomplish more in the spiritual than she can in the physical on Earth. Death dying. Don't be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. It is the beautiful process of your journey in this lifeline, this multidimensional lifeline that we're in. In order to defeat the whole game and get to the ending where the king and the queen get married and we saved her from the dragon, we first have to go through the different levels in our multidimensional lives, where in every level we are wiped clean. Then we bump to the next level, but we still have the skills we had from the last level, but now we're just applying it again, but we're going through a different lifetime until we fill out all of the checkpoints and finally save the princess, marry her, become the queen, kill the dragon, whatever. Now the big question is, what is the point of coming out of equilibrium, coming to earth, do all this process just to go back and ascend into equilibrium again? So within the divine reality, you choose to break apart. Not really break apart. You choose to be individualized, because every soul can be individualized from the main cluster, so then they can spread their creativity, their joy, their individualization on their own, because everyone has something to share that perfectly flows and grows within this beautiful, loving source up here. Within equilibrium, there is this divine reality where everything perfectly flows and grows within this beautiful, loving process. And it's perfect because there are two impulses that are basically the impulses of love and nurture and creative and intelligence. But that's another video. Today we're going to talk about how reincarnation ties into soul bonding and twin flames. But the whole idea is I'm enjoying the process of learning, of experiencing this lifetime, of enjoying growing in my spiritual development so that I become closer to the equilibrium loving source. Because there's obviously a purpose behind my journey, my journeys that are all happening at once. There's obviously a purpose for me on earth right now than there would be if I was in equilibrium. And that's the beauty of it. No one knows all the answers because they're focusing on just their life. When it comes to you, you're focusing on your growth, your process, and you only know the right answer from your gut feeling, from your discernment, because honestly, most of the time, your heart is going to be more aligned than your logic. This might sound absolutely insane, but it's true. Your heart is passionate for a reason. Your heart acts and does things for a reason. Your mind is the one that's telling your psyche, that's telling you to protect itself, to think logically about different things. That is a beautiful thing to do. Don't just turn off your brain because you need it, but your heart is literally connected to the soul, the divine consciousness. If it's telling you something, I would listen to it. Allow your logical mind to think and process this, but your heart is always going to be aligned because you are the essence of a loving source. You are, depending on if you are the worst person on earth or the greatest person on earth. Everyone does things in a different process, and that's the beauty. There are individual souls that you are connected to in all these different lifetimes. And within these alternate lifetimes, they can be your parents, your sister, your brother, your cousins, your lovers, your partner. There's a purpose between you and this person in every individual lifetime. You guys have an influence on each other to grow individually. And there is a pattern to this, and there's a reason why there's a pattern. So a pattern with parents. You choose your parents. You choose your parents because it's the soul you're choosing. When you look at someone, instead of looking at their physical, look at them within their soul. If you have that deep intuition to know if someone's good or bad, tie this into what maybe their soul looks like, all their individual lifetimes. Because in this lifetime, they may be your ex, but in another lifetime, they may be your son. Sounds kind of weird. But there is no romantic connection. It's a perfect flow. It's not that we're prioritizing loving people like this romantically in every single timeline. There is a purpose in every individual timeline to why they're your lover in this one and why they are your friend in another one. So people you have instant connections with, instant sparks with, whenever you see them in the restaurant or the first time you met them, it was just a spark right when you met each other. This person could be someone you're soul bonded to. This could also work the other way. The person who you are neglecting out of your life, but they keep coming back. This person also may be a soul bonded connection that you have. I also want to talk about pets. Pets can be temporary visitors of souls in your life. It doesn't even have to be their whole lifetime. It could be maybe a short amount of their lifetime, because pets are genuine, they're pure. So that allows us pure soul, which the soul is pure once it's in the spiritual realm, the equilibrium, to enter for a temporary amount of time as your pet. Either because you need the guidance, you need a little extra love, or because they're trying to tell you something within their pet identity. So when you choose to take a physical form from the spiritual, it's because you have an undeviating, heartfelt emotion and I-ness to then express yourself as an individual soul, because that is going to add into how you are spreading your love and creativity on the physical plane, so then you can go into the spiritual plane once again. Okay, I talked about the two sides. I'm just going to touch a little bit on us individually, not in the whole world, because there's something called a father intelligence impulse and a mother love impulse. And logical thinking, creativity is the father, the mother is loving nurture. But for us, we're gonna call it your heart and your mind. Your heart is your soul. Your soul is directly connected to your heart, and your mind is your psyche, psychology, psychiatric. It all involves your mind working, your psyche. When your soul, being in this game on a scavenger hunt, once it's exposed to the equilibrium, it knows its origin. It wants to go back. It's longing to go back, but it doesn't know you chose to be here on earth to serve individualization. But when it wants to go back to the divine, it will keep reminding you, keep like a notification on your phone from someone who won't stop texting you, like, hey, remember that? Remember that feeling? Can we go back? Can we go back to can we go back to equilibrium? And your psyche is your ego. It's protecting you. It doesn't want you to think these things because it's thinking you're crazy. This is not the normal. Stop thinking that way. But this whole process of your psyche doubting itself slowly, noticing that self-judgment and the idea of stressing yourself out is wearing on it, your soul is increasing, wanting more and more of source. As there's an opposite reaction in this situation, this whole process is your human consciousness thinning, and you are aligning with the divine reality equilibrium once again. This is important because once you are in this divine reality, you notice there are more miracles in your life. You notice that there is a flow in your life, and when you force things, you come to an abrupt stop, and then things aren't exactly lining up how you want them to. But once you are flowing with source, realizing that everything has a purpose, everything's a lesson, everything's an opportunity, there's a reason why everything is happening this way, that is when there is a natural flow, and you don't stress anymore. You accept, you take responsibility, but you also see the light in everything. Everything has a positive, everything has a negative, so therefore they cancel each other out. Everything is an opportunity. Just that. Might as well do the opportunity with a happy attitude, though, you know? Peace. Another video in the books. Love you all, even though I don't know you.